Hi friends, in our last session we have seen static stiffness. In today's session we are going to start dynamic stiffness and even see effect of aperture. This is Fazan Kakvi and I welcome you all to our lecture series of machine tool design. So let's begin. Now, what is dynamic stiffness? So the basic overview of a dynamic stiffness I have already given during the starting of this chapter. So as we all know that stiffness is resistance to deformation and a dynamic stiffness will be a resistance to deformation under vibration, that is to the dynamic loads which are going to occur or take place when a machine is in operation. We can even say it is dynamic force is an oscillating force which takes place while during the operation. Okay, so now let us begin. So when a static load or a force P is applied to an element resulting into a static stiffness, let's say it is denoted by delta stat. Okay, so let's say a static deformation is denoted by delta stat, which means displacement is delta stat. Remember, okay. Now the equation for this will become delta stat is equal to P upon K, right? Where P is what? So it's a load upon K is a stiffness. So let's say that is a static stiffness or a spring constant. Now this equation is for a static deflection or static deformation. Now considering a dynamic deformation, okay, so if an oscillating force, let's say P dynamic, oscillating force P dynamic, which is equivalent to a static load capital P, that is P, is applied, then a deflection, that is amplitude of vibration, is increased by a magnification factor denoted by gamma. So the basic idea of a magnification factor you have while studying the chapter vibration during dynamics of machinery subject, right? So magnification factor is what? So it is basically a ratio of a dynamic displacement to the static displacement, right? So gamma, you can see over here it is written delta dynamic upon delta static. Okay, so over here in this equation you can see I have make delta dynamic as a subject. The equation will become delta dynamic is equal to gamma delta static, where gamma is our magnification factor. Now since we know that delta static equation is what, so over here you can see it is capital P, that is P by K, right? It is P by K. But since P dynamic is considered equivalent to the static load P, so we can say that this equation can be written as P dynamic by K, right? So over here you can see in place of delta static I have written P dynamic by K. Okay, now the final equation for delta dynamic, that is dynamic displacement, is equal to P dynamic upon K by Y. So over here what I have done, I have taken the magnification factor gamma from a numerator into a denominator. So it will become what in a denominator? So K by gamma. Now, if you see this equation of delta carefully and compare with this equation of a static displacement, then you will notice that the term in a denominator, that is K by gamma, is representing a stiffness. Okay, if you compare with this equation, what does this represent? So K by gamma represents the stiffness, but which stiffness? So it is called a dynamic stiffness. Whereas K is what? So in this equation K is a static stiffness. Remember, K over here is a static stiffness, whereas K by gamma, that is gamma is a magnification factor, so it is representing a dynamic stiffness. Okay, now let's proceed further. The greater is the magnification factor, the lower will be the dynamic stiffness of the element. So it is very obvious that in order to increase the dynamic stiffness, magnification factor has to be lower. Okay, now the magnification factor gamma is a function of two parameters mainly. First is the damping factor, which is denoted by zeta, and second is a ratio eta, where eta is equal to omega by omega naught. So omega is basically an exciting frequency, whereas omega naught is a natural frequency. Okay, now when an amplitude of an exciting force is independent of the frequency of excitation, then the magnification factor gamma can be written as gamma is equal to 1 upon under root 1 minus eta square the whole square plus 2 zeta eta the whole square. So over here eta is the ratio of a exciting frequency to the natural frequency, whereas zeta is what? So zeta is a damping factor. So this parameter and this equation you have already studied your chapter, in your subject dynamics of machinery, that is vibration topic. Okay, so directly we are taking the equation from that subject. Okay, now it is possible to obtain high dynamic stiffness by reducing the magnification factor gamma. Okay, that is low value of K upon K dynamic. K is a static stiffness, whereas K dynamic is a dynamic stiffness. Now, how this equation K upon K dynamic has came? So, if we see this equation of our magnification factor, which is gamma is equal to delta dynamic upon delta static, where this dynamic displacement upon static displacement. Now, if we substitute the value of a dynamic displacement, which is P dynamic upon K by Y, right? Similarly, if we substitute a value of a K delta static, that is P upon K, then you will observe that a relation between stiffness and magnification factor will come equals to, that is gamma is equal to K upon K dynamic. So it is required that in order to reduce the magnification factor, the ratio K upon K dynamic should be lower. Now how we can reduce this? So by increasing the damping. Okay, higher is a damping, lower will be the magnification factor. And second, increasing the exciting frequency as far away from the natural frequency of the element as possible. That is practically either below eta is eta less than 0.4 or above eta greater than 2.5, the natural frequency. Proceed further. So next is influence of aperture. Now, as you can see over here, the box type section is shown. So the load carrying parts of a machine tool cannot always be designed and built with a constant cross section over the whole length. The cross section will definitely vary. Okay, we cannot design our machine tool structure having a constant cross section throughout. It is very obvious. So an aperture in a wall of a section affects its strength, that is basically a stress, and second, stiffness, that is basically a deflection. Now, circular hole affects the sectional length. Remember, circular hole, if provided in a structure, will affect the sectional length equal to the double of diameter. So, an elongated aperture, let's say having a length small l, affects the total stiffness even more because the distributed range is still greater compared to total length of a structure, that is L2 is equal to L plus D. You can see in this diagram, that is the diameter, the circular hole is represented by diameter small d, and an elongated aperture is represented by L. So there is an elongated aperture which is shown by this dashed line, that is basically a hidden line. Okay, now let's proceed further. Effects of aperture and a cover plate. So these apertures are then closed by suitable cover plates which re-establish the appearance of the closed box type section. The reduction of a bending stiffness is relatively small and almost completely compensated by the application of suitably designed cover plate. So you can clearly see the different types of bending stresses and bending stiffness and torsional stiffness has been shown in this diagram. Now, different shapes of aperture and aperture length has been described over here. You can see different A, B, C and D. Okay, so you can see in this diagram, this represents the cross section. Okay, represented by X and Y, horizontal line X, vertical is Y. Again, there is a cross section in which you can see this is an aperture side view. Okay, and in this over here you can see shown by the two lines is a aperture condition when we see from a section. Okay, similarly this is a condition of aperture having an elongated aperture. So you can see this type it is going to look from a section side. Okay, sectional view. So we can say the loss of about 72% of a torsional stiffness due to aperture is only partly made up, and even with the best designed cover plate, the torsional stiffness is still 41% of its original values. Now, stiffener arrangement is used in a box section to improve it. So the weakening effect of aperture can also be reduced by suitable arrangement of ribs and stiffeners. However, the effect of ribs and stiffeners depend to a large extent upon how they are arranged. Now, ribs that are square or parallel to the sectional wall, that is shown in a diagram 1, 2 and 3, which you can see, increases the bending stiffness up to 17% and double the torsional stiffness. The diagonal arrangement of a stiffener 4 and 5 shown in a figure 4 and 5, the diagonal arrangement of a stiffener, that is a cross arrangement, you can see, is superior and produces a higher stiffness not only against a bending load, that is it is going to increase 78% increment in the stiffness, okay, but also it is going to increase the stiffness against a torsional load up to 3.7 times. So the most suitable one which is going to provide a superior stiffness against a bending as well as a torsional load is basically shown in diagram 4 and 5, that is our diagonal stiffener. Okay, so these are the arrangements for our box section. Okay, so this you can see there is a representation in every diagram, box representation of the structure has been shown. Now considering the open section, so the stiffener arrangement for an open section, which you can see in a figure as well. The stiffness of open structures such as laid beds also depend upon the arrangement of a stiffener. Okay, so this a representation you can resemble with a laid bed. Okay, you have seen the laid bed, right? So the diagonal ribs are better than the parallel or a square ribs. Only arrangement which is shown in figure 4 and 5 are effective in terms of a stiffness to weight ratio of a structure. Arrangement 4 consists of two parallel shear connected by diagonal ribs. Okay, you can see a diagonal rib is used. But this is known as a Warren beam and is commonly used arrangement in machine tool beds. So the most preferable type of arrangement you would have seen in a laid bed is this figure number 4. Okay, even it's called a Warren beam. Consists of a remember it consists of a two parallel shears connected by diagonal rib. Okay. Arrangement of a fastening bolts. The stiffness of a structure can also be improved by providing a proper arrangement of a fastening bolt. Fastening means tightening bolt. Now, next figure which you are going to see in the next slide shows the effect of bolt arrangement and a stiffening ribs on the bending and a torsional stiffness of a vertical column. Now, let's see that. Five different arrangements of a column configurations has been shown. So in first arrangement, a fastening bolt has been arranged in a uniform way, but ribs are not used. That is, a stiffening ribs are not used. Okay. In a second case, we would say fastening bolts are arranged in a more uniform manner, which means this is going to increase the bending stiffness slightly in a x direction, y direction, okay, compared to the previous case. So you can see x direction is our horizontal one and our y direction is perpendicular to our plane. Okay, in a third case you can see I have used one of the flange stiffener, or we can say stiffener rib is provided in our third case, that is C1. Okay, so in this you can clearly see that fastening bolts are used as well as a flange ribs are provided. Okay, so this is going to increase the bending stiffness in x and y direction. Whereas in a fourth case, that is our D, in that you can see two flange ribs are provided, that is flange stiffeners are provided. Again, we would say this is also going to provide more stiffness, so bending stiffness in x and y direction will be increased. Along with that, you can even see the number of bolts will be reduced. There is a fastening bolts compared to our previous three cases will be reduced in our case D. Okay, similarly, in a case E, you can see that three flange ribs are provided, that is flange stiffeners are provided, again which is going to increase the stiffness, that is a bending stiffness in x and y direction, and number of bolts in this case also can be reduced. Okay, that is either if in a previous case we were using a 12 bolts, then in this case we can use 10 bolts. Okay, so comparatively over here you can see a graph has been shown. Okay, on which y-axis y represents a percentage, and on this horizontal line represents the location of connecting bolts. Okay, now the bending stiffness in x direction in this chart is represented by the hatching line. The second, that is a blank white bar, represents this bending stiffness in a y direction, and a darkened bar in this diagram represents a torsional stiffness. Okay, so in our first case, that is of case A, you can clearly see since no arrangement is used, just we have used a fastening bolts, stiffener is not provided. So how much stiffness it is going to provide? So we would say that a stiffness of up to, let's say, 90% can be obtained in our first case. Now, in a second case, we are going to use more number of fastening bolts. So can I say that now in this case, a bending stiffness as well as a torsional stiffness is going to be increased. So you can clearly see in this diagram that is Bending stiffness in y direction has been increased, and torsional stiffness is also increased up to 120%. In our third case, what we have done, we have used a fastening bolt as well as the flange, that is flange stiffener or flange ribs is also used. So you can clearly see the change in our we would say stiffness. So stiffness directly has been increased up to, let's say, 130 or 140 percentage, right, compared to the previous case, that is B1. Okay, B1 B case. Now, in our next case, that is D case, we have used a two flanges, right? So again, the percentage of a stiffness has been increased in this case. You can see in X direction also it is increased, in Y direction, and a torsional stiffness is also increased by increasing the number of flange ribs. And in a fourth case, you can see almost there is an increment in a 50%. Stiffness is almost increased by 50% compared to our first case, that is A. Okay, so bending stiffness is also increased in X direction, in a Y direction, as well as torsional stiffness has also been increased. So you can clearly see it is written over here. Arranging the fastening bolts uniformly, the stiffness can be improved by 10 to 20%, and the number of bolts can be reduced from 12 to 10. In a second, stiffness can further be improved by almost 50% by providing a flange stiffener. Either 2, 4 or 6 stiffeners are sufficient enough to improve the stiffness up by up to 50%. Okay guys, so I hope that you are clear in today's session, in which we have discussed dynamic stiffness as well as we have seen aperture, effect of apertures and cover plate, and arrangement of fastening bolts. That is how we can improve our machine tool structure design. Okay, so in today's session we are keeping up till here. In next session we will start with our new topic, that is design for strength and design for stiffness. So till then, stay tuned and thank you all.